nice. American.
Practically narcotic.
Freedom.
Oh, yes, I like very much.
Radio. You're an American institution. American Freedom Radio.
Don't miss Deadline Live with Jack Flood. He doesn't just cover the news, he uncovers the news. Weekday afternoons, 3 to 5 p.m. Central, only on American Freedom Radio.
Someone who is not like the others, who is not a pretender, is our next guest, Adam Kokesh. I love having this guy on the show. He served in Fallujah, served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, or whatever they were calling it, came back and really wanted to continue to uphold his oath to defend the Constitution against enemies foreign and domestic. He's now running for Congress out of New Mexico. Adam is personally committed to using his life to make the world a better place by speaking out. He's pulling people out of their bubbles where they don't consider things that don't immediately affect their quality of life or their moral implications of the actions. Driven by a deep intolerance for injustice, Adam has also done extensive work to alleviate, minimalize, and prevent the human suffering that inevitably arises from a forceful government intervention. He's standing up against the Federal Reserve. He's helping veterans struggling with PTSD. He is reinforcing the Constitution of the United States, and I hope to say very soon here he'll be our next new congressman for the Freedom Movement. Adam Kokesh, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Hey, thanks. That was quite an introduction.
I believe I read the memo, but I could have done much better if I just spoke totally from the heart, because we are huge supporters of yours and really pulling for you in that campaign. It looks like you're really starting to raise some money over Lujan over there and some of your competitors. I think you're starting to really wow the locals there in New Mexico. How's everything going with the campaign?
Well, since we met our goal of raising $100,000 by the end of the third quarter, just minutes before midnight on September 30th, we had a couple donations come in online. It was just seconds to spare that put us over the top, so that was really exciting. But since then, we've got kind of a snowball effect going on. It's really incredible, just the kind of momentum we've been able to pick up since then. But now we're still trying to beat that number for the fourth quarter here, which has been challenging so far. The economy is not getting any better. People aren't really looking to donate, but there's a great opportunity here to invest in liberty. I'm one of the youngest candidates. I think I'm the youngest candidate, really. At least at thisNovemberFifth.com, and definitely among the prominent movement candidates. And so I'm a long-term investment here, and we're getting an early head start on this race. That's what it's going to take to win it. We got a kind of a tough district, but we got a great opportunity here against a freshman incumbent. And when we made our goal, I was actually shocked. I mean, genuinely shocked to find out that we beat him for fundraising for the third quarter by almost $10,000.
Yeah, you did.
And that was nuts. I mean, this guy raised $100,000 in one night when Steny Hoyer threw him a fundraiser in D.C. when he first got there. And I'm like, oh man, this guy's going to be able to raise as much as he wants. But apparently, he hasn't been able to keep it up. That was just kind of welcome to D.C. from the Democratic Party. Now let's introduce you to your overlords and masters. Well, for your time while you'll be in the Congress here, supposedly representing the people of New Mexico's 3rd District. And so it's good to see that he hasn't been able to keep that up. But we're doing that now, and we're putting in the time and effort that we need to meet our goals for the fourth quarter as well.
I've often said this, Adam, and that is that these liars over here, we've got Deborah Medina, who's part of thisNovemberFifth.com, which we're going to be talking about here on the program today with you, that her competition, Rick Perry, the Bilderbergers, Perry and Hutchinson, they have to raise huge sums of money to cover up for their lies. You see, when you're telling the truth, you don't need as much money technically, and when you've got people who are committed to freedom, we're going to go out and volunteer and not need to get paid and try to work on the web and all of that. Maybe you don't need as much money, but that you still need a decent amount of money to wage a good fight against these people and their propaganda.
You really hit a very interesting, very important point for our campaign there, is that we will definitely be effective well beyond the typical campaign in terms of the money that we raise, because we already have a near full-time staff here of 8 people that work their tails off for next to nothing and are really putting in a lot of incredible work here that's got us to this point where we have this kind of momentum. And we have a lot of great volunteers in the district. We have people organizing in every county for every precinct who are already out knocking on doors for this campaign a year before the election. And that kind of that you can't pay for that. You can't buy that. And when you're paying people to do, even the mundane tasks that just have to be done in a campaign, when you're paying somebody who doesn't give a crap about what you're standing for or might even not like you because they really know who the candidate is, then, they're not going to be working as hard at $15 an hour compared to a volunteer that's there for the right reasons. And that's the great beauty of this message, is that it's about empowering individuals, and people get that, and those that really understand that want to fight for this, and they want to dedicate time and energy to this cause. And so that's really satisfying. But unfortunately, the money is still a significant factor. You can't save the world if you can't pay the bills, right? And not only do we have our regular bills to pay for keeping everybody fully equipped here, and really supporting our volunteers is a major part of what we're spending money on now that we're getting into doing advertising for events that volunteers are putting together all over the district. We're starting to get into media buys. We're buying merchandise and things like that people have the tools they need. And the fact is, if you're looking for a single indication of how much momentum or capability a campaign has, next to polling, the only indicator you got is funds raised. And so that's a big reason that we've gotten this sort of jump in momentum since we made our goal of $100,000. It wasn't because we were able to start spending a lot of it. We're starting to save up, but mainly because that gave us a certain legitimacy, and it's really sad that that's how it is. That's the only
that's
reality.
One of the big indicators, and that's media. The big media people that get
and it's sad. Yeah, reporters look at that, and if the reporters write about you, then people know about you. Then when people know about you, then they can support you. So it's all connected, and one of the great indicators of that is the financial success of the campaign.
We saw this was one of the great lessons from the 2008 presidential campaign, Adam, is that nobody took Ron Paul seriously. And at any poll that he won, including all the big TV debate polls, they'd say, it's just some internet scam. They got bots out there voting, and there's not actually people there, even though he was winning the straw polls, even though he was bringing these huge crowds, even though his books were going bestseller. The only thing that they really got was when he brought in all the money on the money bombs. And then all of a sudden they got scared, and he was a serious candidate, and that's, of course, when the big attacks started as well. But this was what they told us. You can't be a serious candidate unless you raise money, unless you do good in the polls, unless you can bring out the crowds. He did all of those things, and still they tried to minimalize Ron Paul as not a serious candidate for office. He beat, 90% of those guys, including John McCain, until he got the nomination and got all the big national campaign money.